Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nick Zuniga. I'm a research assistant on the Geopolitics of Industrial IoT Standards project. This project is run out of UCL. The PI for the project is Professor Madeline Carr. The research lead is Dr. Sally Burton. And another RA in the project is fully booked, Blaine Kata. So I'm going to give you a bit of a recap on the project so far. In stage one of the project, just looking to provide evidence to inform proposed legislation to implement some of the voluntary 2018 Code of Practice for consumer IoT devices. This Code of Practice set guidelines for consumer IoT security. It was also influenced a subsequent European standard. The output from this first stage of the project was a report which has been published on the UK government website. This report examined critical issues in IoT security, particularly focusing on children's toys, domestic abuse, and fitness devices. As part of the project, it found that the supply side commitment to these baseline security measures set out in the standard was weak. So manufacturers weren't really committing to this standard. The second component of the report tried to provide global evidence of global uptake of this standard across the board. This second component was part of stage 2 of the GIST project and a sub-project called Beckle. This really worked to show the global conversation that was occurring about this standard. And they did this through a keyword search, which was done using a data mining tool. The output of this is available here on this board. And you can see in pink the keywords, and each of the blue dots represents an individual website referencing that keyword, while each of the grey lines represents an individual inference of a keyword. What this really did was showed us who was talking about the standard and where they were talking about it, helping us to provide real evidence of the global uptake of this security standard. As a result of this DCMS report, Professor Madeline Carr, the PI on the project, was actually invited to give evidence in Parliament during the drafting of the new UK Product Security and Telecommunications Bill. She was also quoted recently in Parliament, and I'll just show you this clip now. I'm hoping the sound works.
To this bill, Professor Madeline Carr, a cybersecurity expert, told us that she would not have an Alexa in her house due to security risks, that there is nothing in the bill that would change her mind. Due to this statement by the industry expert and the prominent role that cyber warfare is playing throughout the conflict zones of the world, we think it is very much in the national interest to know how secure our connected products are, and we're calling the government to go much, much further. The Prime Minister came into office.
So this shows how PETRAS' research has directly gone on to influence UK legislation in helping to ensure the security of our consumer IoT devices.
As for this bill,
moving on from this to the current stage, which is stage 3, we've really tried to focus on the geopolitical component of the GIST project. We've done this by exploring how China, the US, and the EU approach technology standard setting. This has largely been driven by the release of 3 critical strategies over the last 4 years. The first was released by China, and then we've had 2 more strategies which were largely developed in response to that release. Our approach has started with a historical framing to look at how the history of standardization has developed in each of the 3 cases. We've then gone on to analyze these strategies, and we've tried to draw out emerging themes for further research. Some of the themes we've brought up are here on the board, but we found that innovation really is at the center of any discussions about technology standards. We've also seen that there's a changing role for the state in technology standardization, particularly in the EU and US cases, where the government is now stepping in and the state is now stepping into a domain which has historically been completely dominated by the private sector. Finally, technological sovereignty is key, and the 3 strategies display really differing approaches to assertion of state sovereignty in the digital realm. In summary, technological standardization is said to be a critical space in the geopolitics of the 21st century. It creates an area in which states can assert economic advantages over their competitors, and it also provides a platform for them to project their values as global norms. I'd like to just say thank you to everyone and thank you to PETRAS. Have a good afternoon.